Hello, this is a video diary of the extension carried out by VV Workers Limited, based in Coulsdon, and the director is John Rickell. Right, first internally, not too bad actually, all looks okay. What's outstanding work to do? All the electrics need to be finished off. Yesterday I had the electrician come round. I'm paying him myself now because John has not paid this guy for the previous job that he did, and he's paid him for none of this work so far. So this guy's decided not to work for John anymore, and because he has already started, I'm going to let him continue because he's a nice guy and he's doing a really good job. Same applies for the tiler. Again, John refused to pay him, partially paid him actually, but owes him around £1,100. He has been here and he's done some painting and he has laid my floor, which he did a good job of, but he didn't finish it because I have run out of tiles. So John said he cannot commit any more resources to this project. We're going to that later. So because John refused to pay this other worker, I said he could continue and I would just give him a nominal fee of £50 just to finish this part because I felt really bad for him. So we go outside. Oh, and also the kitchen, part of the contract is for the kitchen to be installed. There you go. Nothing's been done as yet. And also the tiling was part of the contract. There's still some lights that need to go in. I paid for these all myself, nearly £500 on 2 days ago. Let's go outside. I mean, there you go. That's acceptable to John. You can't see any problem with that. Anyway, so this is the lintel. Been informed it's been incorrectly installed. It's upside down. The way they've installed the French doors, it will cause a problem after it's been pebble dashed. So it's been recommended that these French doors are taken out and repositioned. Right. So to the side, this is John's attempt at sending someone round to do rendering. This guy turned up for 2 hours and then just disappeared off the job. I contacted John and he said basically this worker had wanted payment before he would continue, and as John and Vanya refused to pay him, he just walked off the job and left it as it is. And thank Christ he did. I mean, if you want to compare it to how pebble dashing should look, and that must be years old, not even new, and there you go. And this is John's work. Also at the bottom should have some kind of metal support, but they did nothing, so it will just eventually crack off in time. Where to begin with the roof really. Absolute shambles the side of that, with no way to begin with that part of it. It speaks for itself. Right, let's go into the soil pipe. Right. I had architectural plans drawn up for this extension, and in the plans John should have brought the soil pipe to the left of the bathroom window. It should have come straight down through the roof into the kitchen where it was supposed to be boxed off, and then it should have been channeled through the floor. A new pipe laid through the floor, which would have come through the other side of the wall, and it should have connected to the sewer. John has just taken the easy route, which he says he hasn't done, and just laid it straight over the roof. A few builders ran to look at this and no one's ever seen anything like it. So this is how he's just left it. This has been like this for 9 weeks now. Blockage in the drains. There you go, not pleasant. That's what I've had to live with for about 8 weeks now. Repeatedly asked John to come and get someone to unblock the drains, and all requests have been ignored. Right, go back to the roof. The left hand side where the adjoining wall is, the lead that they've put up is not sufficient, and I've had about 3 different quotes for this, and all of them have said this has got to come off and start from scratch basically, and obviously it needs pebble dashing above. The whole length of the back of the extension with the lead in needs further work, it needs pointing, and it needs a collar soil pipe, as the building inspector said it's not acceptable as it is. There's also a few roofs that are not sitting correctly. Sorry, a few tiles I should say. Right. Now we come to the waste pipes. Again, no one's ever seen anything like it. These are the professional people who come round. But John just says you shouldn't take the word of competitors. That's his excuse for it. But what's got to happen? Well, basically these waste pipes, if you'd have followed the plans, should have just connected to the soil pipe, and they would have just come straight through the ceiling, through the kitchen, and as I said previously, just connected under the kitchen through the soil pipe out to the sewer. But as John ignored the plans, this is what I'm left with. So 2 waste pipes, so there is a way around it. It's not ideal, but it needs to have 1 4-inch soil pipe which connects up the 2 smaller ones, but the only way to do this is to take all the roof off above, any battens, and one of the rafters, because the way they've left it, there's no room to get the 4-inch pipe in. John says that he had this covered and he would have done it the correct way, but I don't see how he can dispute this really, because there's no way around it apart from taking all the way the roof off. So it'd be interesting to know what he's got to say about that. Guttering to be done, fascias. How it's ever going to be able to me won't look nice. It's not, to be quite honest. It's impossible with the piping as it is. But I'm just going to have to live with it. The fascias that he did provide, I've had some roofers round. I measured them up, and they are the wrong size. So all materials have to be purchased again. A hole in the ground, and I'll attempt to fill it in. Right. I did ask for additional work on top of the contract, which is not part of the contract, which John's trying to say it is, but this additional work is charged me for already, £240, and as you can see, it's all beginning to sink already. And the reason for this is because he failed to have a concrete base put underneath the bricks. He just laid them straight on top of the grass. It says this is prep work, but these bricks are unusable because they've all been filled in with concrete. So the only option is to rip them all out. And there you go. John's charged me £240 for this work. Yes, so the additional works, it was going to charge me £800 to finish the patio, as it stands, and then it was going to charge me £1,600 to do the front patio. John's claiming this is all part of the contract. Well, we've got the original contract in black and white, and it's just for the basic build, nothing to do with the patio, which has to be done. So he's trying to claim that I pay him for this work. There you go. When the guy turned up to do the pebble dashing, these are the materials that John supplied him. I've been informed now that this is incorrect. This sand is for floors only. We should use plaster and sand. Originally for the pebble dashing, that's the whole extension, he supplied one bag. And then he brought 2 more round, but I've been told it will take 10 to 15 bags to do this job. So the builders walked off 4 weeks ago now. I've paid John nearly £28,000. The original contract price was about 31,900, I think, but we agreed on some deductions which amounted to about 2,700. So I work out to finish this off hundreds of pounds, and John is demanding a £900 invoice, and he's saying I'm being unreasonable for not paying this. You can all make your own minds up from what I've just shown you whether it's fair to withhold a payment, which, well, it's not really withholding when you consider what needs to be done here and the mistakes he's made. Also, you're going to finish this wall off, plaster it in, and skirting boards. I think it's shown on the camera now, it's too dark. So basically that's it. Verify the date and time. Right. Today is the 30th of June, there we go, 2014. I'll just change the channel to prove it's not recording. And there we go, 30th of June 2014. Please go on mybuilder.com and read my review of John's work, and then see his reply, and he said he was quite happy for any of his new customers to come round and look at my work, and obviously I'll be delighted to show anyone this work. And he says I've made derogatory comments about him but are not true. You can all make your own minds up about that. Thank you for watching this video.